Right. So there's a phrase that people used to pass around. I don't know if they still say it, but it was a thing that they used to say 10 years ago or so that I used to hear my buddy say about loud and wrong. It's basically the people who are the loudest in what they talk about, but they're always like the most wrong. And the ones who are the most quiet are the ones that got the most knowledge to give. And this is what I witnessed in this video that popped up on my Facebook feed earlier, talking about how the reason grandmothers stayed in their relationships was not what you think it is. And he goes on this tirade about how your granddad was cheating, your granddad had kids across town, your grandmother couldn't get a bank account, your grandmother was oppressed, they slept in separate rooms, and this, that, and the third, and all this. He goes on this long, I think it was about 3 or 4 minutes long. And the whole time I'm thinking, here we go again with another person who has no idea what marriage is, how it works, what it means, and what it takes to make it work. And the craziest part about this is the people who do this the most are always either single or not even they're usually single and can't get a spouse, or they don't even want one, or they in unconventional marriages anyway. So it's like you trying to talk about a biblical construct from the lens of an unbiblical person, and then you wonder why it don't work and it don't match up with what you saying. So let me explain why your grandmother was in a marriage for so much longer. She was a better wife, she was a better mother, she was a better nurturer, she was a better caregiver, she was a better helpmate, she was better at keeping her vows. She was just a better woman. That's why. It stings. I'm sorry. It's not even necessarily your fault, because the values now are different, and the values we have now don't make for better women. It just doesn't. Not in the lens of what a marriage entails. If you define better as having more college degrees and money, oh no, y'all killing it out here. Killing the game. Killing it. If you think better as long-lasting love and relationship and companionship, not even close. And that's not to say that stellar wives don't exist. They do. I know a ton of them. But this idea of the only reason grandma stuck around is because she was subjugated to this relationship that she didn't want nothing to do with is just false. It's just false. That's not how it happened at all. She understood the vows she took, which were for better or worse, for richer or poorer, through sickness and health, till death do us part. And she was a godly woman who understood those vows weren't to that man, to that priest, but it was to her God. So she kept the promise she made. It's not about the government subjecting her to anything, but the problem is y'all look at relationships, specifically marriage, as a contract to be levied on your tax return or leveraged on your tax return. And for most of you it is, and that's okay if that's your deal. But like I said in one of my other videos, those of us who truly understand what a marriage is, what it entails, what it requires, this is easy. Did grandma and granddad, or grandma, great-grandma and great-granddad have some fights and issues sometimes? Yeah, of course. Every relationship does, especially when you're in 24-hour close proximity to a person. Did they have struggles? Yes, of course they did, because everybody does. But the difference is they weathered it for the sake of keeping their family together. They didn't want their kids doing visitation. They didn't want their assets being split up and divided and tearing down the family progress. They didn't want to have to try to start all over from scratch only to fail. Y'all don't know enough divorced people. Because if you did, you would know that those people who just decided I'm out on a whim, shy of like actual abuse, they're miserable. Now, if you got an abusive relationship, nobody's telling you to stay there. And again, the Bible don't either. But if he lost his job, so I left. That woman's miserable. He got cancer, so I left. That woman's miserable. We was fighting too much, and we didn't think therapy was gonna work. That woman's miserable. And the funniest part about it is, y'all say this to women to encourage them to leave, but you don't tell them that the men bounce back 500 times better than they do. Man goes through a divorce, weathers the financial storm, and will be back on track unless he's like a senior citizen. He's back on track in 2 years. Finds a better woman in 3. Flip that. Get a divorce, split all the assets. The woman is worse off in 2 years. By 3 years, she's done had 6 new partners, 6 new bodies under her belt, still no prospects, and just crossing her fingers and hoping and praying that she can find somebody else. Meanwhile, still looking at the social media of the ex, looking at all the upward momentum that he had. It don't work for you. It don't work. It doesn't benefit the women at all. Yeah, you get your windfall from alimony, child support, and all that other stuff, but when that run out, you got a dog. And a house too big for you because it was probably the family home, and now you by yourself in a house meant for like 3 to 5 people. Grandma stuck it out because grandma was smarter than you. That's the reality. She knew what she was doing, and you don't. And if you really, really want to figure it out and you still got your grandma around, I suggest you go talk to her or somebody else's so you can figure it out. So you don't end up making these angry TikToks talking about how your husband is so happy and you aren't.